Welcome and thanks for joining us tonight. I am so excited to learn about Disney. I just wanted to quickly introduce a super agent, one of the best agent I think I have ever met. So thorough, and we're really looking forward to her training tonight about Disney. Thank you, Tammy.
Thanks, Faraday. All right, guys. We were going to start with regular, the parks and everything, and a lot of really detailed information. But Robin went to a very last-minute vendor event that I wouldn't blame anybody. I told her, I said, go. We'll just rearrange this. So she's in Boston tonight, and she'll be back next week. And she's between the two of us putting our brains together with Disney. She does a ton of it. And there are so many little things that people would never think of. It's insane. So we're going to go over a lot of big little details and stuff next week. But this week I'm just going to hit on the cruises. I promised you guys. I told you that they're in a league of their own, and they really are. So I'm going to go over that. Hit just a good overview of Disney, and we'll just go through that. If anybody has any questions at the very end, we're going to do that. Hopefully, I apologize, it's got thrown together very last minute because we had to switch everything up. So hopefully everything's going to come off without a hitch tonight. We're going to pray for it. All right, guys, I should be sharing my screen. I hope everybody can see it. This is really just Disney Cruises 101. We went through everything with cruises. There's nothing different with Disney as far as the way that you treat your clients, service your clients, bring, all the things that we've talked about, bring them in the night before, all of those things. There's honestly not any differences. So we're going to just do an overview of Disney, and then if you take the information that I've given you throughout with cruises, and apply it, then you're good. I just don't want to keep backtracking over the same things. If anybody has questions or anything, if you haven't done the regular cruise training, go do it. If you have questions, just send them to me and we'll get them figured out. So Disney 101. Yes, I keep saying it. They're in a league of their own. So which cruise lines can really compete, or can you compare them to? None. It's just the truth. They do things so differently. Their ships are so different. Their level of service is completely different. It's just a completely different experience than any other cruise line. So there's really no way to compare them. And we'll go over that here in just a little bit. I'm going to go over, is it worth the extra expense? And I'm going to show you guys just a real simple way to, people are very skeptical because these cruises are not cheap. But they wonder, is it really worth the extra money? And so I'm going to show you a real simple way to show your clients what they're really getting for their money. It's a truly magical experience. It doesn't matter how old you are. It's just like going to the parks. It doesn't matter if you're 6 months old or 90 years old. Everything about Disney, they make it magical. I swear the restrooms are magical. It's insane. The kids clubs, they can't be compared to anybody else's. You can imagine. Everybody knows how Disney is. So just take that and put it on a ship, and you've got the most amazing kids clubs you're ever going to have. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is how much they do gear towards adults. They really make it. It's not a bring your kid and experience it with your child. It's adults that don't even have children. They have so many adult-only areas, and they really try to make sure that everybody can have their own complete experience, whether it's an adult, a child, a teenager, or as a family altogether. So it's a very unique experience on a cruise ship. The ships are literally, they are their theme parks. They're theme parks on the sea. You can say, well, but it's not the Magic Kingdom. You might be surprised what all they bring onto these ships. They don't miss a beat, just like they do in their parks. So the activities that they offer, are just activities that obviously you can't get anywhere but with Disney. We'll go over some of those. The attention to detail, again, it is literally throughout from the time you get to the port until you come back. It is everywhere you look, there's an attention to detail, exactly like they do in their parks. So, we're going to go over some of that. And then Castaway Key. It's not K, guys. It's actually pronounced Key. We're going to just visit that real quick. It is their private island in the Bahamas. All of the cruise lines have basically their own private island there in the Bahamas. All the major cruise lines, let me say. But Disney's is like none other. It really is. I know that when I've been on cruise ships and we've kind of went by, when you can't compare any other private island to Disney's. So just from start to finish, they're in a league of their own. Their ships. Let's go over some of the stuff that they offer here on these ships, because they are really just a magical place at sea. Their Oceaneer Club is their kids club. It's for children ages 3 to 12. They have, each one of them has, each ship, there's 4 of them. We'll go over those, but each one of them has different things. They don't have, like, their kids clubs are not identical on each ship. But for instance, this year on the Disney Magic, we've got the Marvels, the Avengers Academy. It is the neatest thing. And another thing about this training that I want you guys to understand is I want to excite you enough that if you don't already have a Disney login, or if you've not went and really looked at Disney, I want to excite you enough that you do this, because you really need to go to the Disney College of Knowledge and get your specialist. I can't teach Disney like Disney can teach Disney. So go and look at these things. The kids clubs are phenomenal. But that's the new thing this year, is the Avengers Academy that they've got on the Magic. The Edge and the Vibe, that's on every ship. It's for tweens, 13 to 17. The Edge has video games, that it has music. I don't know why I put music on there twice, but it has video games, music. It has movies, is what that was supposed to say. They have a dance club for the Vibe. In the evening, they turn it into like a teenage dance club, and they do karaoke and all that. It's a Small World. Disney's the only one who has this kind of a nursery program. You do have to make a reservation. You can do that for your clients prior to their arrival, but it does fill up. So it's like for 6 months up to 3 years old. It's called It's a Small World Nursery, and they literally just cater to these babies. So if mom and dad want some time alone, want to be able to lay out in the sun maybe for an hour or two, with no distractions or anything, then make sure that they know all about it. Send them all the information on it, and if they want you to make that reservation, just do so. Aqueduct, it's on the Magic. It is just a really big water slide, and it's real fast. So they've got that on the Magic. The Aqua Lab is on the Magic and the Fantasy, and it's just like a water park on sea. They've got water that comes down and dumps on the kids, and it's really neat. They can climb up on stuff. They can get in the pool. They literally have something for every age and a multitude of ages, including families. You've got families that mom and dad can go down Aqueduct. They have a Castaway celebration on deck. Not all cruise lines are doing this. It used to be kind of common. I thought, before I became a travel agent, I thought that's what you did. You go up there and everybody's waving at you and all that. They really make it a celebration. They go all out. They've got their characters out there, and everybody's just, they have a dance party that they do. So they really go all out with it. They have fireworks at sea. Yep, they put them off the ship. So you'll see pictures online of some of the ships, and it looks like the fireworks are coming out of it. They literally do their fireworks just like they do at their theme parks. They've got the neatest ice cream and candy shops now. They've got a brand new one. I think it's on the Dream. It looks just like one of those candy shops and ice cream. They've got gelato and everything. But the new one that they just came out with, it looks like the ones that they have in the parks, is what it reminded me of. And it's just for everybody. I can't imagine when my kids were young, they would have lived in that place. Live Disney inspired shows. If you've ever been to Disney and seen the shows that they put on, The Lion King, Finding Nemo, all that, they literally just bring them to see. They're completely different. They're not the ones that we see at the park so much, but they are Broadway level, absolute, what you would expect from Disney in the theater. You know, they've got the Walt Disney Theater there, so nobody misses it. You wouldn't miss that for the world. And it's also unique in the fact that most of these ships, they put on these shows, and some of them, yeah, the kids will sit through. A lot of them they won't. They're geared more towards adults on the ship. These are for everybody. It doesn't matter how old you are, you're going to go see these shows. Deck parties, they have deck parties all the time for the whole family. It's not just for the kids. They have a pirate night every sailing. They will, I'll talk about the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, what's it called? The salon where the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo salon where they do the makers for the princesses. The little girls can pick what's their favorite princess, and they do them up from head to toe with the whole dress, their hair, their makeup, everything. Well, on Pirate Night, they do all of the kids in there. You can go and get fixed up like a pirate. So Pirate Night is kind of like the special night for the kids, and even the adults. I mean, the adults go all out for that. First run movies that we've not even seen in the theaters or have just came out in theaters, absolutely. And they'll do them under the stars. They'll do them in the theater. And they'll do them out by the pool, and then they've got a theater as well for those movies. Character greetings. You might hear me say this more than once. You know, Disney over the years has changed that a little bit. They've had some issues with, I mean, it's just a sign of the times, I think, with their characters. I know when I was growing up, when you would walk through the theme parks, everywhere you looked, there was a Disney character. And they would come up to you and people would just take pictures. Well, not anymore. Now they're surrounded almost by a herd of guards when they come through. They don't stop. They can't stop for you. And they have a specific area where people line up to get their picture taken with them. It saddens me. But not on the ships. This is like old school. They're just walking around. They have certain ones that will be at a certain place, but you'll see them all. You have more character experiences on the ships than you do in the theme parks now. They have cooking classes. The whole family can get involved. I believe they have some just for adults as well. That's very unique, especially on this. You wouldn't think that Disney would think about cooking classes, but they're very popular. The Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, that's the one I was just talking about. They don't have it on the Wonder, but all the other ships do, the other three. And it is, anybody that's been to the theme parks or heard about this, I know it's not super cheap, but it is an experience of a lifetime for a little girl. Absolutely. And they just do, I mean, these little girls look unbelievable when they get done with them. Little princesses. The Star Wars Millennium Falcon, it's on the Dream this year. This is one of the new things they put on the Dream. I think they're probably going to do the Fantasy and add a bunch of stuff to them next year too. But they've literally brought Star Wars on board. So for the Star Wars fans, there's a lot of adults that even go and just because the word Star Wars is involved. The Disney Infinity. It's a virtual experience on screen. You know, they stand in front of the screen. It is like this huge room with this screen and the floor lights up. Neat as it can be. It too's on the Dream this year. It's brand new. And family-friendly excursions like only Disney can do. These aren't your typical shore tours, guys. These are excursions for the whole family, and they are very careful about what they offer. As you can imagine, that's Disney for you. So you're going to get excursions that you're not going to maybe find on your typical cruise. The ships, yep, most magical place to see again. Let's just go through these just real quick. So the Magic is your oldest ship that they've got. It was their first one, and it set sail in '98. They have revamped it. It goes to the Caribbean out of Port Canaveral, but this is their busiest little ship because it also has itineraries in the British Isles, Europe, out of Dover, the Mediterranean, Barcelona, Norway, Iceland. I mean, this is the busiest ship that they have as far as ports. It is still just a very beautiful ship where most of these cruise lines, The ships get a little haggard. They get beat up. People don't take care of them. They try to take care of them the best that they can. That's not Disney. Disney ships, I don't care how old they are still a completely different level, because they are so attention to detail. And like I said, they have revamped it, but it doesn't matter. It's just the way that Disney does things. The Wonder, it's their second ship. It's actually the sister ship to Magic. So they're very similar, but it's set sail the next year in '99. And it will leave out of Miami, go through Panama, and go up to San Diego. And then it's got a couple little like 2-day cruises around San Diego. Then it goes up to Vancouver and does Alaska. And this is where this picture was taken. Then you've got the Dream. I remember when the Dream actually it came this way. So when they, it was like a big deal. Everybody was taking pictures and out there looking at it when it came into Port Canaveral. But it's their third ship, and it was 2011, and everybody was so excited because if you look, we had 12 years without a ship from them. So it goes out of Port Canaveral. It does the Caribbean, and it does a lot, mostly the Bahamas. I think it only has maybe one itinerary to the Caribbean, but it does mostly the Bahamas. So this ship, I know that you can get very low prices to the Bahamas, but there's not another ship that I can even think of that goes to the Bahamas regularly just for a 3-4 day cruise that could come close to the caliber of the Dream. There's just nothing. They use, we talked about the other cruise lines. They use their older ships for their Bahama cruise for their 3 and 4 days, even their 5 days sometimes. But all of the other lines are going to do somewhere like 7 days plus on their new ships. Not Disney. They charge a little more, but you get so much more. So your 3 days, you're really going to get treated like royalty for 3 days. The Fantasy, it's their newest. It was 2012. It's the sister ship to the Dream. And as you can tell, it does look very similar. It does Eastern and Western Caribbean out of Port Canaveral. So you go to the Bahamas mostly on the Dream, and you'll go to Eastern and Western Caribbean out of Port Canaveral on the Fantasy. So just remember, we've got a really good selection here in Port Canaveral. Yeah, it's also the most magical place to see for adults. So we're going to go through this real quick, and I'll show you just how much stuff they've got for us adults, guys. They've got the Senses Spa and Salon. That's on every one but the Wonder, and the spa on the Wonder is called something different, but they all 4 have salons and spas on them. The Palo and the Remy, that's your intimate dining. That is also the only locations, the adult-only restaurants are the only locations on the ship that it is a mandatory. It's a very strict dress code, not a suggested or a guideline. They're strict about it. Though you're not going to go in there with shorts on. They're not strict about anything else. It's very casual and Disney, and it just keeps getting more casual. But they do want you to, for men to have jackets and or with collars, shirts with collars on them. No shorts, no flip flops. The Quiet Cove Pool, they have these beautiful, they call them the Quiet Cove Pools, and they're for adults only. Kids are not allowed in there, and it's like an oasis. The Satellite Falls is new on the Dream and the Fantasy this year. It is so neat. It's like this, it looks like a big, huge round, looks like a huge pool, like a round pool, but in the center of it is this great big, huge round, it looks like a big round boulder. It's like really smooth, perfectly round ball is what it is. And the water goes up and it falls off of it. And so you can set just like a regular pool, but then you can go and you can get cooled off and just let that water drip on you. So it is just the neatest looking thing. And it's for adults only. They have late night dance clubs and lounges exactly like they have on any of our cruises. So they don't tell mom and dad that they have to go to bed, at a certain time because they have their kids with them. It just doesn't work like that. They have some really, really neat clubs and lounges. They have adult-only entertainment shows, comedy shows, that kind of thing. They have the cooking classes that I mentioned, and then wine tastings. So they have wine tastings for adults. They have fitness center. Kids can't go in there. They actually have a juice bar. They have anything that anybody can want. They have a big running track up on top of all the ships. So anything that you want for fitness, nobody has to worry about that. Another reason everybody says, I just can't see how it can be worth that extra money. I can go on Royal Caribbean or I can go on Carnival for this amount. You can't compare apples and oranges, guys. And here's where we're going to start looking at. Put yourself in your client's shoes. If you were sitting there and a travel agent came, was trying to explain to you what Disney has to offer and how you're not comparing the same thing here, guys. So you just listen and put yourself in those shoes and see what you think. Because I really want to hear some opinions after this as to, do you think that you could convince a client? Now, Disney fanatics are not hard to convince, okay, guys? We all know that Disney fanatics, they'll do anything with the word Disney on it. But your families that have children, they want to go on cruises. I get them constantly. I've got one-on-one right now. But those are the ones that they may not, it's expensive enough to take your kids somewhere. So it's a premium experience, but it's at a moderate price level. So you're really comparing it with like Royal Caribbean, just around those and maybe some Norwegians, but you're getting like a celebrity, Holland America. You're getting that level of a cruise, and those you couldn't do for what you can for Disney, especially for what you get with Disney. So it's really a premium experience, and it kind of falls in between there price wise. They literally, just their staterooms alone, they pioneered the larger staterooms. And why did they do that? Because who are they catering to? Families. So they're the line that you've got 5 people, they can sleep 5 people. I mean, not all of the rooms, don't get me wrong, but they do have a lot of rooms that can hold, larger families. Their inside standard room is 184 square feet. The standard room on like Royal Caribbean and Carnival and Norwegian is about 119. So that's a huge difference. Huge. The exterior and veranda, they don't call theirs balconies, but their exterior and the veranda rooms are 218, where like Royal Caribbean again, Carnival, those are about 122. You get almost no extra space with them. Now, I'm not saying that some of the new ships, like the Harmony of the Seas and those, that you're not going to have rooms that are a little bigger than that. But they don't go up to like 200. I mean, you're talking suite level on most of these to get to 200 square feet. Almost all of them, okay, with few exceptions, have a bath and a half. So 2 people can be getting ready at all times. Then you've got tubs. You've got actual bathtubs in all the staterooms, not just a shower. You don't have to be at suite level to get a bathtub. So that's just awesome. There's a curtain. You guys can probably see it right here. But it's like this in every room. It doesn't matter whether it's interior or a suite. This is a concierge level on the Fantasy, but this is a curtain. So even if this room wasn't this long, there's still this. So you can close that off. The kids can be over here and you're over here. I don't know of any other cruise line that does that. Also, this sofa and everything right here, they miraculously turn this into bunk beds. So your room steward comes in when you're at dinner or whatever, and you have your kids, and that turns into a bunk bed. So it's just very, I mean, they've thought of everything. You get really high quality linens, fixtures, towels, not your standard, they are high quality. So you get a lot for your money. Let's talk about it again. Let's talk about that attention to detail. I don't know. I mean, not everybody's not been to Disney. I mean, we live here, but there is if you've not been to Disney, there is no way to describe. You will not walk through and find a piece of paper on the ground. They did a study. They went as far as to spend a ton of money to do a study to find out how many steps, how far somebody would walk with a empty cup or anything in their hand that they needed to throw away before they would drop it on the ground. And they found out it was so many feet. So if you go to a Disney park or any Disney property, there is a trash can exactly that distance between, they are everywhere. You don't walk more than about 5 steps and there's another trash can. And not just that, they just, they've got, I swear they're little ghosts, but they've got just the way that they handle all of their shifts. It's a 24/7 process with them of keeping everything spectacular, and nothing is ever looks different today than it did yesterday, and it's always clean. So the attention to detail is unbelievable. This is look here at the Disney Dream. Isn't that beautiful? It is absolutely gorgeous. Their fingerprint throughout. I love to go to Disney hotels, especially. You go and you're like, when you at first glance, you think that maybe the material in the chair looks very normal, or the the curtains. It just depends on where you're at. But you'll look at things that you think look just like a standard upholstery, but when you really get and looking at them, even their pictures and their art, there is always a Mickey somewhere. They literally will take this beautiful fabric and it'll have Mickey ears woven in it or whatever. It's unbelievable. So you're going to find that fingerprint throughout, but I'm going to tell you something that you're not going to expect. People think that these ships are going to be very over the top. When I say over the top, if anybody's done Disney, then you know that, like Pop Century, especially like your value resorts, they're very Disney. They're extremely Disney. From the rooms to the outside, I mean, they've got these, the sports. They've got the all-star sports, that art of animation. Everything is like huge Disney, big Disney characters everywhere, or like larger than life. At the sports one, they've got these humongous basketball courts that are like, I mean, so oversized it's not funny. And so these ships are nothing like that. Nothing. They're very subtle. They're very luxurious. And they went for a very classic, not over the top Disney. The attention to detail is beyond anything else, but you're Disney, you're getting the Disney experience. And yes, there's plenty of the characters and all that, but they went with a classic look. They wanted these ships to really be able to hold up over time, and for their interiors to do so. The food. Every person says the same thing. They say, we've spent all this money and all this time in Disney parks. We typically get to go, and they save money for these things, to go to, like one really nice Disney restaurant, because the deluxe dining plan is out. It's very expensive, especially if you have a family. It's very expensive. So most families will pick one. They'll do like a quick service meal and they'll save up their points, or they'll do, they'll save up money and book it. And everybody says that, this is 24/7, 3 big meals a day of eating in the best restaurants in the parks, the ones you can't even get into. They say you cannot compare Disney's food to anything. And I know that's true. I mean, I can tell you that. I mean, their food's phenomenal. I can't, just being able to do that every day from the time you wake up, and you went to the best restaurant that serves breakfast. You went to the best restaurant in the park that, or on Disney property that serves lunch, and same thing with dinner. They just, it's the best food you've ever had in your life. Resort casual, you don't have to dress up all over the place, unless you're going to one of those adult only restaurants. It's only, they ask you not to wear just to cover up in a bathing suit in the dining room. They're not strict about it. They, just put on your normal casual resort, what they call resort wear, but just put on a pair of, nice shorts. Even now they're letting you they didn't even used to do that, but now you can wear nice shorts. You can wear, they'll let you in there with a t-shirt on, but you don't want to go in there, dripping wet with your swimsuit on. And then again, like I said, the only strict one is the adult only. But I'm telling you, you want to dress up for that anyway, guys. That's an experience in itself. This pool right here is the Quiet Cove pool I was telling you about. Isn't that gorgeous? That is for nothing but adults. Everything you see right there is adult only. So the kids can't come in there, and the adults can just lounge and have just a nice, peaceful, quiet. You won't see your kids anyway because they're going to be at the kids club. So it's second to none. The service is second to none. Everywhere you look, there is somebody that works for Disney, and they are greeting you. When you go on the ship, they announce you and clap as you're entering. When you're boarding the ship, there's nothing like it. Now, I do have to tell you that if you're going for a big party experience, then you're going to probably get some looks, because it's not your typical hang out at the bar, hooping and hollering and carrying on. They are, they're trained in the service that Disney offers, or, and that what they provide. So if you're swearing a lot and being very loud and, let's say obnoxious, you're probably going to get somebody from Disney that gives you the Disney look. Like, dude, there's kids on this ship. They're very, very aware of things like that. But their service, they just treat you amazingly. The characters, again, they roam the ship, not like the parks where you have to stand in line. You do get those experiences where they actually announce them. They have a certain time and all that, but I mean, they're just roaming all over the place. So you do get more than you do at the parks. The entertainment, all the adult stuff that I told you about, that's only, there are adult only pools, but they're typically not completely separated on some of these other ships. And I've never felt like I really had my own space until evening, if you know what I mean. And there's none of this like saving chairs. They've got plenty of lounges for everybody around the pool. You don't have to worry about those things. They just account for absolutely everything. It's unbelievable. The entertainment, there's no way to describe that. That if you've seen a Disney show, I don't care if it's Disney on Ice, they take the same level and they put it on these ships. And and they've got entertainment you won't see any other. There's no way for you to even see some of these shows. Like the new one this year is Tangle, but they've got all of these that you can't see anywhere else. Get this, they have heated, chlorinated freshwater pools. They don't pump it out of the ocean and it's freezing cold like on every other cruise line. It is chlorinated freshwater pools and they are heated. Love it. Again, kids clubs, how can you compare them? I mean, just how can you compare them? I can show you guys some pictures here in a little bit. I was trying to put these slides together and I really wanted to do a lot of pictures. And I ran out of time. I'm just going to be honest. But anybody that's seen the parks, it really is, it's the theme parks. They don't have like one room that the kids go to. They have multiple rooms, multiple things for them to do. They keep them busy, and the kids they're so over, like they don't even know where to go. There's so many fun things for them to do. Wave phones. They have wave phones to communicate with your guests. So if there's a family of you, they have these wave phones. They're like cell phones on board. So you can call each other. You know where your kid is all the time. You can say, hey, we're going to the adult pool. What are you doing? Mom and dad, grandmother, whatever. Everybody can always get a hold of each other. They've made it. I mean, they think of absolutely everything. Okay, so now you decide, is it worth it? Now, you guys are going to put yourself in, and I come to you and say, or I have a client that comes to me and says, Tammy, we've been to Disney a lot, and I know it's really expensive, but I can't imagine that it could be anything, that these cruises could be worth the money, and that it could be anything like what we get in the parks. Well, number one, I'm going to say, done Disney, you're exhausted. And when I say exhausted, typically you can barely move by the end of the day. From the time you get up until you get to the park is a minimum of an hour. I don't care where you're staying, but you've got to grab something to eat. You get there, it's like you've went through a marathon. Don't get me wrong, everybody's excited and loves doing it, but it's a good hour if you rush to get to the door of the park. 5 minutes after you wake up, if you want to be, you're starting your vacation on these ships. So honestly, the level of the ships, of what they offer, their service, their attention to detail, the food, oh my gosh, the food, the way they take care of your children, that like no other cruise line does, the experiences that they give you, they are truly They're equivalent to at least a deluxe resort within the Disney parks. Now, anybody that's ever priced a deluxe resort, let me just tell you that is not cheap. But for sake of argument, we're going to say, okay, a moderate resort with base tickets, no hopper. Okay, we're not no hopper, just a base ticket where you one park a day. You don't get to go to the water park, none of that stuff. You go to the Magic Kingdom today, tomorrow you go to Epcot, the next day you go to MGM. You figure out your days. So we're going to say a base ticket with a hopper, and then a quick service dining plan. What a quick service dining plan gives you is basically that. All quick service. You get 2 meals a day. I'm trying to remember, 2 meals a day and 2 snacks is what it is. So you have to decide, do I want breakfast and dinner? Do I want lunch and dinner? And if you want a third one, you pay for it. So that's the quick service dining. They do give you a mug that you can get free sodas and tea and that kind of thing, but it doesn't work in the park. It only works at your resort. So you can get all there at the resort. Every resort has its own like restaurant and all that, and buffets and all that stuff. You can go and fill up your mug. But if you take that mug into the park, it's not refillable. The only time that you get free soda is with your meal that you've chosen. So it's not free constantly. But it averages out to about $800 a day. That's the average, okay? For a family of 3 to 4, about $800 a day. So having said this, honestly, to be honest, I did a deluxe resort I did a deluxe resort for 7 days with the free, at the time, a free dining plan. It was when they have their, a couple times a year they offer that. So their dining plan was free. So we can't even add that because it's not typical. And the base tickets without the hopper, and a Disney cruise came in for 7 days at a little over $1,000 less. So, and that was for a deluxe resort, and they didn't even have to pay for their dining plan and a base ticket. They couldn't even hop around for 7 days. They had to pick one park each day. So, and no water parks or anything. So, there's a lot of extra money that's spent there when you're doing that, because you're either going to upgrade your tickets or you're going to spend money doing something, just so that you don't only have experience each day. So, and typically it's the water park, but yeah, it ended up being like over $1,000 less to do a 7-day Disney cruise. Okay, Castaway Cay. It's Disney's private island, like I said. It is in the Bahamas. They all are. This is it. There is a little bit of literally everything on this island. They have all of their food, just like it is with your on the ship. The food is free. Your sodas on Disney. Your sodas are always free on Disney, and they're free on the island. So your fountain drinks are free on Disney. There's none of these soda cards that we have to get for everybody on the other lines. One of the major benefits, and people love this, is that this is the only private island in the Bahamas that I know of. Well, I know it is. That they don't tether. They actually dock. So you get off the ship and you're on the beach in seconds. You don't get off the ship, have to get on another one to get over there. They don't tether out away from the island. There is a water park on here in various places. There's a different water park, literally slides, big slides, small slides, you name it, they've got it for all ages. They've got an adult-only beach and an adult-only restaurant on this island. So if you've got couples that are going that don't have children, if you've got people who have, children that can fend for themselves a little bit, then that's a great relaxing time for mom and dad. Barbecue restaurants, they've got several of those. They've got all, and you guys can see this, all of these chairs and umbrellas. One client said that there were enough chairs, and this is very untypical, said there were enough chairs and umbrellas that if all 4 of Disney's ships docked the same day, everybody would have one. There was no fighting for a particular spot, putting your towel down, praying nobody took your spot, none of that. there's just no need for it. I mean, I think everybody can pretty well tell. They have parasailing. They've got an excursion for the at this island with the stingrays, and they do all kinds of stuff with the kids where they do an actual educational experience with these stingrays instead of just going out and going, oh yeah, I touched a stingray, like most of them are. They've got any kind of water sports you can imagine. You can do an excursion here with it. It's like a huge water park in the middle of the Bahamas with all the different ones. And then they have a sports beach, you know, with all the different sports and the volleyball and all that. So this one is a very, you know, I really encourage you to just kind of go look it up and just compare it to a couple different ones, because you're not going to be able to. I would let, you know, they all have them and they're all fun. I mean, I've had a blast, you know, at some of these little private islands, but it is, this one's in a game, in a whole league of its own, like I said. So there is a lot with Disney that people say, you know, is it worth the money? Well, I can tell you that if I look at a client and I say, well, I'll tell you what, you've never told me that you didn't think the theme parks were worth it. You know, maybe they only go once every 5 years because it's not cheap. But they say people save up for that. They will save up. They'll plan it out to the, you know, the perfect dates, and they live. I mean, the experience that people put in and the time and effort they put into a Disney vacation is mind blowing. It is absolutely mind blowing. It is like doing a research paper that is 2 years long at times. If you were in college, it's just it's mind blowing. And so if you take that and you compare, if you're able to use that experience and compare the rates and what they're getting with, if they went to a land-based vacation with Disney, and then compare it to these cruises and let them realize and see there are videos. I mean, you guys, if you've not gotten in there and started training, please do it. Because I have to say, I've done a lot of training, and I'm not going to tell you that it doesn't take a little bit of time, because it does. But Disney put the attention to detail into their training, just like they did all of their properties, their cruises, everything. They really did just a great. I learned things about Disney when I did that years ago that I had no idea existed. So I just encourage you, because also in there, in the same area, you know, you've got your benefits, because they do give us some agent rates. They have certain sailings that they'll put out for agents. They fill up very quickly. They sell out very quickly. So just remember that. But they do pay commissions, obviously, on everything. And these people that answer these phones are, I think Robin made this comment the other day. She called me one day. It was so funny. And we were talking, and she said, well, she said, I'm just in a great mood this morning. And I said, you are? And she said, yeah. She said, I called Disney. She said, I've decided that if you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or you're just having a bad day, find a reason to call them, just to ask them a question. She said, they play really nice music. She said, they're so nice when they get on the phone. I thought I was going to die laughing, but the truth is they really are. And they don't mind. They love travel agents, and they'll do anything for you. They just treat you like gold when you're on the phone with them. So don't be afraid to call them. Again, I'll say the same thing I said with the others. Research your trip. Know what you want before you call them, but they'll book it for you. They'll book it for you. They'll answer any questions that you have. Get in that agent portal. Start doing this training, because one of their entire modules is on their cruises, obviously. And also there's all of this marketing material in there. And you can go and grab marketing materials, videos, photos, all of those things to give your client on these, and show them, you know, what all they have to offer. I think they would be very pleasantly surprised. I think people think Disney cruises and they think it's just for little ones, and it's so not. It's so not. There are so many people that don't have children that go on these cruises. So compare it if you can. Even people that haven't been to Disney, they'll understand. I don't think there's, I mean, you have to have lived under a rock or something to not know that Disney's out, not cheap. They've at least heard somebody talking about, saving for a couple of years to take their family, or, how much everything is by the time you buy tickets and get a room and all that stuff. But the experience that they get, people just come back. They're willing to pay it. So compare it, get on there and say, okay, as of right now, here's a moderate or deluxe room. And this is what it is with tickets for your family, with a meal plan. That's about the best way to compare it. And then you do the cruise. And it's a real eye opener for them. Plus, they're seeing things that they'll never, that they've never seen through Disney's eyes, because the way that Disney does ports and the way that Disney does cruises and does their private island is completely different than any other cruise. If you can be on every cruise line in the world, and until you've been on Disney, there's no way for you to understand what they offer. So do that. Make sure you start that training. Look in detail. Their agent portal is actually pretty user friendly. It's just very, very. It's more simple. So get in there and play with that. And then if anybody has questions, I will be happy. And I'm a little, I think I'm a little frazzled tonight because I had to get all my thoughts together so quickly in this. I was thinking, well, let's just see. I have all kinds of great pictures. I'm sorry, guys. All kinds of great ones. Okay, I'm back. If anybody has any questions, you can put them on there. I say this every week. I don't normally do it like this, but I do want to say I didn't get my last two screens up. But if anybody's on here that, I don't know, it's in internet land, who knows how I found it, that's not with our company, that has thought about being a Disney agent. I have friends that I went to high school with that I've had 2 or 3 of them say, you know what, Tammy, I want to do what you do, but I want to do it for Disney. Every day, people make a complete living selling, very easily selling, but it's a lot of work because there's a lot of things that you have to do with Disney that you don't do with others. But it's fun too. And if you love Disney, it's definitely something to think about. But if you've ever thought about being an agent, ever came up on this, or you're I've been with 3 other host agencies. If you're unhappy and you're looking for somewhere that's going to give you some support, give you some training, that's really a family. They don't just say that, we really are. Then give me, if you know somebody in our company, run to them. Just let them answer some questions for you. They'll be happy to. But if you don't, then I'll be happy to answer questions for you. You can email me. It's travelbytammywalker@gmail.com, and it is my website's travelbytammywalker.com. So you can do that, and then I always say that if we've got people that stumbled upon this, because this one wouldn't surprise me, because every people go. I mean, when I tell you that people research Disney trips, and we'll spend years putting together a Disney trip, I can't. Until you see it, you can't imagine, or until you've done it. So it wouldn't surprise me if we have people on here that are just, they saw Disney and they're looking at it. So I don't, if you don't want to be a travel agent, I couldn't blame you. I mean, not everybody wants to be. Sometimes I think we're crazy, but it's a passion. And if it's your passion, that's great. But if you just want to go to Disney, then I'll tell you what, the people in this company are the ones that send you there, because you'll not have anybody work harder for you. You won't have to do all that stuff. Call us. Just call us. If you know somebody, call them. If you know a travel agent, give them a chance. Give them a chance. You will not believe what they'll do for you. We'll do your fast passes. We'll do your dining. We'll get everything together for you. We'll make your reservations for you. Everything. You won't have to do all that. The same thing with the cruises, what we always do. We get the best pricing. You're not going to get better pricing than what we can give you. And we do from start to finish. You're going to get an itinerary. You're going to know everything. When you get on that ship, what to expect, how you get off of it, how you get on it. I've got a list that's about 4 pages long that literally goes through every detail of what you need to do or what you can expect on a Disney cruise. So by all means, call us or email us or Facebook us. Again, it's travelbytammywalker@gmail.com. And just if you know a travel agent, give them a chance. You might be really surprised what you get, because you're going to save money. We don't charge anything. People don't realize that. Why are you giving Disney the commission when you have to call them and you have to do all the work? We'll do it for you. We'll absolutely do it for you. And tune in next week, and you're going to find out just how much agents do that bug Disney. Any questions? Otherwise, I'm going to sign off here, and you guys can email me or anything that, if you have any questions or whatever. And I'm going to probably put up some extra pictures next week, because I really wanted you to see some more pictures of the cruises and the kids clubs and the satellite thing I was telling you about for the adults they did this year. They got some really neat stuff. So thanks everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. Sorry that this one was a little different from the others. And I don't like throwing things together. So I apologize. And if there are any questions that I can add to it next week, whatever we need to do, I'll be happy to. But that's definitely the gist of Disney. Wonderful. Talk your clients into it. They will never, I've never had one of them come back and be sorry that they went. Never. All right. I will see you guys next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Thanks for joining.